here we go again. This is like a kind of like a part 2 video to my last one, or like a continuation, whatever you want to call it. My makeup is done. As you can see, I put like gold and silver, and then I did like some sparkly green. I don't know, I'm just playing around. But it's all from this palette that my sister got me for Christmas. It is Revolution Makeup Revolution London, whatever. It is chilled with cannabis sativa, so that's why it's got like the pot leaves all over it, or the hemp leaves, whatever you want to call it. And the colors are so freaking pretty. Wait, let's do it that way. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this palette. Anyways, intro time, I guess. So what I was gonna do for this video is kind of explain the like story of Batuu, or like the story of like Black Spire Outpost, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, whatever you want to call it. There's literally so many names. So let's start out with, excuse me, I burped again. What is up today? Well, let's start with okay, so big picture. The land within Hollywood Studios is called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The planet that you travel to when you enter Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is called Batuu. That's the planet of Batuu. The city where the market is, and like the cantina and the like food places and the Millennium Falcon, those are all in Black Spire Outpost, which is like this hub, this like place that kind of grew up out of, there's like one Black Spire, that's why it's called Black Spire Outpost. There's one Black Spire, and it is on the side of the building where Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, the store, is. It's like the store with like the automatic doors that close like that, and everybody's always like, because they think they're Jedi or whatever, but it's just an automatic door. It's so funny to watch people do that. There's one singular Black Spire, and if you don't know what a spire is, nobody does. It's okay. A spire is a petrified tree. So the story of the planet of Batuu is that hundreds and hundreds of years ago, before like the planet became like inhabited by humans and stuff, it was a lush, green, beautiful, like kind of like an Endor type planet where it's like just pretty and like green, trees everywhere, foliage, plants, everything. And then some kind of cataclysmic event happened. We're not sure what it is. It happened before our time. Like, could have been an asteroid. It could have been just like the planet got knocked off its axis or something. But it like froze. I don't know what the word is to describe it. It like petrified the trees, and that's what the spires are. They're like a bunch of gray ones, and there's kind of like a blue. There's like bluish ones. There's like mostly they're gray. They're the spires that are sticking up everywhere. And then there's the one singular Black Spire, and that's where Black Spire Outpost kind of started. And it was like this huge, like busy hub. It was like a major stop in the galaxy, like travel network, or I don't know what to call it, but people were there all the time. Literally, it was like such a hub. It was like a huge travel destination. It was where people went to get like fuel and to like shop, and it would just became like this huge place, right? Once like the major highway in the galaxy happened, they call it something, I can't remember what it is, like the light speed highway or whatever it is. Once that got like discovered or built or whatever they call it, Black Spire Outpost kind of got forgotten about, and it became like this kind of desolate, like smuggler alley type, shady person planet where you would kind of go and like make deals under the table or like find a smuggler or stuff like that. So that's why like the cantina is there, because it kind of plays into the whole like, oh, Han Solo was a smuggler and they were kind of waiting there to get jobs or whatever, right? And so that's like the story of Black Spire and how we became like this whole place, right? This market, this hub where there's a restaurant and there's the docking bays, and yeah. on Batuu, kind of backtracking again, there are like, when you work in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, you become a Batuan. So you are from that planet, you work on that planet, you have never left that planet. You're born there, you'll probably die there. So that's like the basic rules of your character. And so there are 3 like communities that your persona, your character can be from. There is Galma, which is like the city area. I kind of think that I would describe it as like a kind of like a downtown kind of area where it's like, it's not the best part of town, you know, it's not the best city in the world. There's definitely like a lot of shady stuff going on there. There's like droid fighting rings and stuff happening in alleys, and like just a bunch of shady stuff, right? A lot of people who are from Galma are like so prideful. They're Galma, like that's the thing. When you go to Galaxy's Edge, you go find the people who work there and you ask them what community they're from. Ask them where they're from. They will have so much things to tell you, and they love to be asked because it is so much fun to tell people who like know what it is, like your story and like where you're from, what your family does, stuff like that, how you started working on Black Spire Outpost, stuff like that. The other place would be Pika, and that's kind of like the suburbs. That's like where I would say like that's like where the families live. It's like neighborhoods and like a stream nearby, and it's like kind of a quieter place to be if you're not into the hustle and bustle and all. People from Pika are usually pretty chill. Honestly, you can look at somebody and kind of guess where they're from, you know what I mean, just by like their personality and stuff. And then there's the third and last place, which is where I decided that I wanted to be from, and it's called Surabot. And it's kind of like up in the mountains. It's like far away from the city. It's far away from Black Spire Outpost. It's like cold up there. The temperature is like crazy. It's just like farmland and pretty much all like nothingness, right? And that's kind of what I felt connected to because I'm from like, not like a small town in Georgia, but like when I was younger, it was definitely not as built up as it is now. Like it used to just literally just be like a Publix and a gas station, and now we have like a bunch of different restaurants. We have Publix, we have Kroger, we have like Target that just popped up down the road too. Not just popped up, I mean this was a while ago that it got built, but when I was growing up it was like nothing around me. So I feel like from that like hometown kind of like small town place and like kind of out of the way, bunch of farmland, literally so many farms. And yeah, so my story was that I was from Surabot. I was born there. My grandmother told me stories about the Jedi and about the Sith and like the legends, like the Jedi legends and like the, you know, cool stuff that happens all around the galaxy, because she's been everywhere, but I've never left Batuu, obviously. And I would love to listen to her stories, and it made me obsessed with Jedi and with the Jedi Order and with just the Force in general. And I'm just like, I personally, I don't like that the First Order is here because I don't like what they stand for, and I'm a huge Rebel supporter and I'm a huge Resistance supporter and everything. So like that's like my story. I'm from Surabot. My family is bantha farmers, so we like milk the bantha, and that's what the blue milk is. If you don't know, the blue milk, that's like the slushy drink that's there, it's bantha milk. And the green milk is something else. I think they said it in The Last Jedi, but I literally don't remember. It's so much information. It's so hard to remember everything. That's the thing, is like it's hard to have like deep conversations with people sometimes because it's hard to remember everything. And there are Star Wars super fans, like super fans, okay, that will come in there and they will just like spit out knowledge at you, and they'll be like, oh, you've never read that book, you've never seen this thing. It's like, no dude, it's so much information. Like how am I supposed to see it? Like how am I supposed to memorize an entire universe? Like it's so much. Anyway, so yeah, so then everyone who works on Black Spire Outpost is like owing money or like credits. They call money credits. So like whenever you check out, they're not gonna be like, oh, that'll be $32. They're gonna be like, that'll be 32.5 credits. Like they're gonna say credits, you know, because that's like their money. So if you get like confused when you go there, that's what they mean. then I started working on Black Spire Outpost because I borrowed some money from Olga, who is the owner of the cantina. It's Olga's Cantina. I borrowed money from her because I really wanted to move out of my parents' house. I wanted to kind of go out on my own, so I took a loan from her. And yeah, I got my own spire, and now I work in Black Spire Outpost, and I'm paying back what I owe to Olga, and the interest keeps going up, so I probably won't ever get off the planet. But I heard that the Resistance landed in the camp in the woods a couple miles down, and I'm excited for them to like maybe start recruiting. Maybe it'll be my chance to get out of Black Spire Outpost, get off of Batuu and stuff. So yeah, that's like my story. That's like my person. And everybody has one of those. Everybody has a good story. Like pretty much anybody can tell you like where they're from and their like kind of backstory. Some people take it more seriously than others, obviously. But everybody really likes to talk about it. I mean, it's really a fun thing to interact with guests about, you know? And so if you're a guest, go ask somebody where they're from on Batuu. It'd be fun. Anyway, so let me think about where I was going with this. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Batuu, whatever you want to call it. You can literally call it anything. People know what you're talking about. Takes place in the Star Wars universe between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And it's kind of like on a Groundhog Day type thing where you're kind of reliving the same day over and over. So the characters are always going to be in the mindset that they were between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So anything that happened in The Rise of Skywalker is null and void. It literally does not have anything to do with Galaxy's Edge at all. So that's why you'll see like Kylo Ren hunting a spy or whatever. He's looking for Rey. You'll also see like the stormtroopers going over everywhere, but they kind of won't go into like past the market area. Like, okay, so the way it's set up is like a big circle, really. So there's like, if you look at a map, you'll figure it out, but there's like Kylo Ren's ship, there's the Millennium Falcon, there's the market area, and then there's like Droid Depot and the Savi's workshop, and then bathrooms and the blue and green milk stand, and back to Kylo Ren's ship. So it's kind of like a circle. But once you go right outside of the circle, it's like the woods. It's like the camp or whatever. And that's where the Resistance is. And that's where the Rise of the Resistance is. And so like the stormtroopers and Kylo Ren won't go anywhere near that area, but they'll kind of go into the market. And then Rey and Chewie and like the good guys, like Vi, she's from Star Wars Rebels, I believe. If I'm wrong, please don't roast me. She's like a rebel spy, and she's a character that goes around everywhere too. And she starts in all the good guys pretty much start in like the Resistance camp area, and they kind of go into the market a little bit, and then they kind of go over by the Millennium Falcon, but they really try and avoid each other because like that would ruin the story if like Kylo Ren and Rey like come face to face and they're like, oh, it's like that Spider-Man meme. It's like, oh. But anyway, so that's why you'll kind of see the characters like in the same area, but they won't ever see each other. And if you try and be like, oh, there's Rey, they'll just ignore you. Like they're not gonna, you know. But my favorite part of the whole place is the stormtroopers, honestly. Obviously, if you saw my video where it was like getting roasted by stormtroopers, they are so funny. All of their like little sayings that they have are like, oh my god, they're amazing. They're hilarious. They will poke fun at you. They'll like be so nice to little kids, and it's just a really good time. Like I love the character interactions in Galaxy's Edge. Kylo doesn't really stop for pictures. None of the characters really stop for pictures. That's the thing. It's like if you've ever been to Disneyland, how the characters can just like kind of walk around. It's the same thing. They're trying to start it in like Florida, in Walt Disney World, because that's not usually a thing. In Walt Disney World, typically the characters all have their own meet and greet area, and you stand in line and you go and take a picture with them, and then you're done. But like in Galaxy's Edge, the characters are all walking around because they're like real people, like this is their land and stuff. It's like, it's just kind of like a different mindset. They're kind of like shifting it in that way. And so the characters will just be like all over, and they're not gonna like stop for a picture with you. So my advice would be to, like, if you want to get a picture with Ray or with Vi, start a conversation with them. Ask them about, like, the resistance, like, what can you do to help? Or, like, tell them, oh, I saw Kylo Ren, don't go over there, like, I know he's over there. Or, like, if you see, like, Chewbacca, be like, hey, Chewie, like, how's the Falcon? Like, you've been working on it. Or be like, do you want to play sabacc? Like, there's, like, a table in the market that's over by the bathrooms, and it has, like, games on the wall, and, like, it used to be monkey lizards. It might still be, I don't know, I haven't been there in a minute. But at that table, they, like, the people who work there will do, like, games and stuff, and, like, it's kind of like a selling point. It's trying to get you to buy the card game sabacc or, like, the board game and stuff. So basically, like, they're just playing games that right there the whole time. So if Chewbacca wants to play sabacc and you're, like, kind of right there, just be like, Chewie, come play sabacc with me, you know? And he likes to play sabacc. I mean, that's how they won the Millennium Falcon, duh. But yeah, that's kind of like the lowdown of the characters. Try and start a conversation with them. Obviously, Chewbacca's not going to be able to, like, talk to you back in English. He's going to go blah or whatever he does. But Rey will talk to you. She's so nice. Rey in Galaxy's Edge is amazing. She always has great conversations. She always, like, talks, like, correct. I'm trying to keep character integrity here with the way I'm talking about this, but Rey is great. It's amazing. Kudos to Rey over there, okay? I've always had great interactions with her. She always has something to say. She's always entertaining. It's awesome. Kylo Ren and the Stormtroopers, obviously they're not going to be able to have, like, the best conversation with you. They can do, like, their one-liners or whatever they do, but they can't, like, talk to you. The masks really prohibit that. So if you have a kiddo, just, like, kind of prompt them, I guess. Rey loves to gather up little girls and, like, take a big, like, strong girl picture together with all of them. Oh, it is so cute. I love watching them do that. Anyway, so the story. So it takes place between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, so you're not really gonna, you're also not gonna see, like, merchandise that says Star Wars on it. Not in Galaxy's Edge. You will find it off-planet. Off-planet is code for outside of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, like other places in Hollywood studios. So at, like, Keystone on Hollywood Boulevard, it's a store, Keystone Clothiers. They have pretty much all Star Wars merchandise, and it says, like, Star Wars on it. So if you're looking for a t-shirt that says Star Wars or whatever, that's where you'll find it. Or at Launch Bay, which is, like, the Star Wars store. It's more of, like, a museum meet and greet type area, but they do have merchandise. But everything that's in Galaxy's Edge is gonna say, it's gonna, like, not really say anything. If it does, it'll say, like, Black Spire Outpost or Batuu or whatever. Also, that brings me to Erebesh, which is, there's a couple of different ways to pronounce it. I've always said Erebesh or Arabesh. I'm not sure what's correct, honestly. But it's the language, the written language that's, like, all over Galaxy's Edge. So it's on the doorways, it's on, like, signs, it's in your guide map. It's, like, usually the guide maps have, like, a decoder, so you can translate what is written places. And also, if you have the My Disney Experience app, or, like, the extension to it, which is the Disney Play app, you can, like, translate. You can just literally hold your phone up to the wall and it will translate what it says for you. And it's so cool and it's so much fun. Also, on the Disney Play app, you can, like, hack into, like, the radio signal boxes. Honestly, I've never played it, but it keeps track of, like, your score and stuff, and you can earn credits. Not, like, real credits. If you earn credits on the app, it's not real money, just so you know. It's, like, play, right? If you go into the cantina, when you have to have a reservation, first of all, please make a reservation for the cantina. They do take walk-ins, but only, like, in special circumstances, so make a reservation. Also, for Savi's Workshop and Droid Depot, have a reservation. If you don't, you probably won't get in. Like, that's just the thing. It's constantly busy. But they can see how you did when you fly the Millennium Falcon. If you, like, do the ride where you fly it, it's called Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and I'll talk about that in a second. But if you do that and you do well on it, your, like, phone is gonna tell the people who work at the cantina, and they're gonna be like, they're gonna bring it up. They're gonna be like, oh, I heard somebody, you know, did a good job smuggling some stuff for the Millennium Falcon today or whatever, right? And coaxium, that's the word, it's coaxium. And they'll know if you did well or if you did poorly on that ride because you literally control it, you know? Like, it's kind of like a mix between a video game and a ride. Like, yeah, you're controlling what happens, but you're also moving. It's like it's like a hardcore virtual reality. I would say it's like kind of a mix between like Star Tours, where it's like you're flying Star Wars stuff, and Mission Space, which is the one in Epcot where you're like it's like the Mission to Mars thing or whatever, where you're like spinning and stuff. It's not quite that rough, but it is kind of like that where you control it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the Disney Play app, there's games on it. You can literally like earn credits and stuff. Just give it a try. Just give it, there's like codes everywhere that you can scan, and you can like see what's inside of the boxes and stuff. It's just like, I don't know, it's cool. It really is. Oh, I'm hungry. My stomach growled. Oh. I don't know what else to say. Oh, okay, the big thing. I can't believe I didn't know what to say. So the story is we're kind of like on a Groundhog Day. Every day is going to be the same. Excuse me. That's why we never progress in time. So that's why we never get to the events that happen in Rise of Skywalker, because we're like reliving the same day over and over. And that's also why nobody can really ever get off the planet, because if you didn't this day, you never will, kind of thing, you know? And so what we know as Batuuans is that the Resistance fighters or whatever landed here on Batuu and set up camp in the woods like 4 weeks ago. Just about like approximately 4 weeks ago. And then about 2 weeks ago, Kylo Ren and the stormtroopers landed in Blackspire Outpost and started doing patrols, and they're looking for some spy. We have no idea who he's talking about, whatever, right? And so yeah, it's kind of like just like a fun little game, like a place that you can just go and literally be a different character. Like, you can be whoever you want. You can be a Resistance sympathizer, you can be a First Order sympathizer, or you can be neither. If you want to be a smuggler, you can just be like, I'm gonna go where the credits are, you know? I don't care about who's in charge. I want to know where the money's at, you know? And that's what a lot of people who work in Galaxy's Edge, like, kind of, that's what their attitude is, because I guess it's easier than, like, arguing with guests if they're like, no, you should like the Resistance. It's like, I just like the money, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much, like, that's a lot of the information that I thought before I started filming, but if you have more questions, leave it in the comments. Yeah, because I'll continue with these videos. I'll tell you all about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I'll tell you all about Disney if you want. Trying to think if there's literally anything else that I can think of to tell you about Galaxy's Edge that, like, maybe it's something that doesn't make sense. And I have like a couple of videos from Galaxy's Edge because it was like my favorite place to go while I was at Disney. But yeah, well, I guess that's my videos for today. I filmed 2 back-to-back. I don't know how quickly I'll be uploading them back-to-back, but if you're a new subscriber, hello, thank you for being here. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so excited that my video did well, and I'm just trying to keep that momentum. So hi, if you're here, I see you. Thank you. Bye.